My next guest is an actress, a wife, and mother of three. She's a former Miss USA winner and is now a successful businesswoman, focusing on women's health and wellness. She's the founder of the lifestyle platform Reshape and the author of a brand new book, Reshape Your Life. Don't settle because you are worth it. I sat down with her earlier this week to talk about it. Here's my exclusive interview with Landry. Allie, thanks for being here. Before we get to the book, I have to start. You're a fellow Louisianian at the other L.A. Now, I grew up in New Orleans, but you grew up in Cajun country. Tell me about how that shaped the woman you've become. Your dad worked in the oil fields. I know your mom was your first inspiration, a bit of an entrepreneur.
Yes. Well, first of all, I have such a connection to my roots. I have a beautiful, large Catholic family. There's 10 children on my dad's side, 8 on my mom's side. Everybody lives on 2 big patches of land. I call it one-stop shopping. I just park the car, one home, and then I just go house to visit everyone. And opening the book, I mean, honestly, the first 2 chapters is truly a love letter to Louisiana. I get emotional, to the community that raised me, to all the strong women that I had around me. And I think I appreciate it even more now that I'm away from it all. So to this day, I honestly still consider myself, just a small town girl.
What role did your Catholic faith play in your life when you were growing up? I know it is such a, for Louisianians, it's such a part of our lived and daily existence and communal life.
It really is. It's a part. I'll tell you this. I feel like everybody in our area in Southwest Louisiana is Catholic. So I honestly think that it was something I took for granted. And, of course, went to church every Sunday, and I went to a Catholic school and was taught by nuns, and I had, my faith as that foundation. But it was not until I was an adult that I really evaluated my life and recommitted to my faith in the most profound way. And I'm really, when I did that, God showed up in my life in a completely different way and really walked alongside me in the journey.
Allie, the new book, Reshape Your Life, it's really all about transformation. Now, you've had so much success in your life, Miss USA, you're acting, but you've also experienced loss and tragedy. And you write in the book, when life turns upside down, you can feel dizzy and off balance, like you're falling. What I found is that it helps to tether yourself to what you know to be true in your core. For me, that's my faith. I began to pray like never before. Only God could comfort me and give me the peace and healing I so desired and transform my heart. God was present for me. It has been the only time in my life when I heard God's voice so clearly, and I think it is because I was so fully dependent on Him. Tell us about that time and how important it is in life to be tethered to truth.
Really the book is all about reshapes, right? I feel, for me, I never want to see a woman settle for less than what she deserves, right? And the book really helps you identify areas in your life that just are not serving you. And I share with you the tools to help you get to the other side and really create those true and lasting reshapes. But at the core of it all, honestly, is my faith. And it's when, there were times, there have been many reshapes, but, I've had some around betrayal and love, right? And tragedy and loss, where they brought me to my knees and I did not have the answers. And I honestly had to completely surrender my own will. Like I couldn't do life the way I wanted to do it. I had to, because I felt so helpless in those moments that I had to honestly give it to God. And when I did that, that's when I heard, I was in so much pain, right? But that's when I heard His voice so clearly. And that's when the transformation started to happen within myself. I was able to sit in that quiet, sit in that pain and just and like I was like, God, listen, I've made many mistakes in my life. I can't make any more. Or I have to be able to move through this with happiness and joy and positivity. I can't have resentment. I can't feel anger. Like, I want the best life for myself. But your plan is way bigger than mine. So just hold my hand and take me through. And I get chills because I don't get an opportunity to speak about that very often. And so I do it in the book. And I'm so happy we get to talk about this here, because that is where it was my relationship with God and my faith that really brought me through the toughest times. If I didn't have that, I don't know if I could have got through, I would say, in the miraculous way that I did.
Ali, you also talk about forgiveness, and not only forgiveness for others, but forgiving ourselves for past mistakes. What would you say to those struggling with their past and the things that or choices they've made in their past?
I even look at my own life and I think, I definitely went to the wayside. I've definitely made bad choices. I've definitely made mistakes. But I have to say now, standing where I'm standing, I embrace those times and I look at them as part of the fabric of my life. It was wonderful learning experiences because I allowed them to be. And I think forgiveness is so important. I had a really hard time understanding what that was, especially when someone betrayed me and I had to learn to move forward with forgiveness. I honestly thought that forgiving would mean that I'm saying, like, that's okay what you did to me. Like, I'm good with that. But that's not what it was. Forgiving that person allowed me to move forward, right? It allowed me not to carry anything forward in my life because they weren't worrying about it. It's not an easy thing to do. It actually took me a while to figure it out and for that concept to land on me. But again, I really tried to walk the reader through as best I can through my personal experiences and give them those tools of how to kind of maneuver through these situations in their own lives.
The book, it deals really with the health of the mind, the body, the heart, and the soul. After years of working in Hollywood, acting and landing your dream job of a talk show host, your health and wellness took a sharp downturn. What happened?
Yeah.
And how did you come upon this idea of Reshape?
Yeah. That's honestly where it all started, the concept of Reshape. I was on, a daily talk show. I was on Fox. It was a panel. I was, so excited. But that kind of schedule was really tough. It's up at 5, live at 9. I thought by the time I got off at 10, I was going to get in some exercise. I was going to go to the grocery store, cook this dinner, pick up the kid, have this whole great day. In reality, I would get home exhausted. I would climb back into bed. The best way I could describe it, and I think women, I was in my mid-40s at the time, I felt off. I felt sick, maybe, but not sick enough to go to the doctor, right? Just didn't feel myself. And so I actually went to a naturopathic doctor and did my first full blood panel. And I had so many aha moments and really saw where I was off. I was experiencing, poor digestion, poor sleep, chronic pain issues, mild depression, low energy. I felt like I was living half a life. And once I started making some adjustments with the guidance of the naturopathic doctor and many others that came into place after that, I experienced that next level of health. But I was about to throw in the towel. My girlfriends, when I asked them, they're like, yeah, Ali, we're getting older. That's what happens. And for me, that just didn't sit well. I was like, I'm 40-something years young. I have this great life in front of me. I want it to be vibrant and amazing, and I want more. And so I just dug in and did the work. And that's part of what I share, because I know it's possible.
Yeah. Yeah. You've spoken and written about your 17-year marriage to film director Alejandro Monteverde. Of course, people will be very familiar with his work, Little Boy and Bella and so many other great films. You have 3 children together. Tell me about the importance of that relationship, how it changed your life.
I was coming off of a betrayal that we spoke about earlier, and that's when I completely surrendered my my life, my relationship mostly to God. I was just like, I've made bad choices. I was very specific about what I wanted in a partner. Very, very specific. One of them was I wanted them to be equally yoked. I prayed for him in great detail. At the time I was reading Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren, and I was doing the workbook, and that was like such therapy for me. And we met at a theology class. Alejandro and I met at a theology class. We actually, I honestly felt we were both writing in a diary at the same time. And I truly feel with everything in my heart that God delivered him to me. He delivered this man to me. And we do not have a perfect marriage by all means. I don't want people to think that. But at the end of the day, you know, he is the leader of our family. He keeps us so close to God and reminds us like daily gratitude, appreciation, like always looking to him for all of our blessings, right? And I just have utmost respect for him, even with his projects that he's doing. Like you mentioned, he has a new one that's coming out. We're actually going to Rome to show it to the Pope, which I'm so excited on Sunday. And just the projects he puts out in the world are so hopeful and so beautiful and just raises humanity. I mean, it's an honor to be married to him. And I take zero credit, 000. Honestly, I went to God in that moment, and that was part of that reshape, and that was the result.
As I mentioned earlier, or alluded to, you have not been untouched by tragedy you and Alejandro. In 2015, and you devote an entire chapter in the book to this, the Reshape Through Pain. You and Alejandro received a call that your father-in-law, Alejandro's dad, and his brother were kidnapped near their hometown in Mexico, and sadly, they were both killed. And you write in the book, the grief and the pain felt like we were carrying a building on our shoulders. It was the greatest weight I ever experienced, pulling me down all the time. Losing them changed everything. I was not the same person. In tragedy, faith is truly put to the test. Honestly, that was the most difficult thing in all of this for me. Suffering had sent me to my knees in prayer so many times, and now it was hard to pray. I initially felt betrayed by God. I tried and tried, but I could not understand. And you go on to mention how Jesus said from the cross, "Why have you forsaken me?" How did you and Alejandro deal with this horrible tragedy? And talk to me a little bit about how your faith was challenged and how you overcame that.
You know, during that time, it's so hard, like you're in that space, and I'm hearing it again. And during that time, like to lose one person in that way is inconceivable. But to lose two, you have no idea how to even mourn. Like you're, as a human being, to process that is really, really difficult. And we were really struggling. And my father-in-law was such a devout man. It's so beautiful. Honestly, when they took him, I thought they would fall in love with him and they would return him. Like I didn't think it was going to end the way it did. So when we lost him, we were confused. We were angry with God because he took a good one. And we met with many priests, many spiritual advisors. I mean, we did so much work on ourselves, just try to understand. And it's so funny. I was hosting a Catholic conference, and Alejandro wasn't even open to even sit in the audience. He stayed up in the room. He was with me. And Father Michael Gately got up, and he was talking about his book, 33 Days to Morning Glory, and he was talking about Mary and the Son and bringing us back to Jesus and union. And I don't know what happened in that moment. Again, I have chills. I knew that I needed Alejandro to talk to Father Michael Gately. And I was thinking Mary is the way. I've never had a devotion to Mary. Like, I really didn't. I would just go straight to the big man. I brought them together. He shared with us the book. We started doing the book, 33 Days to Morning Glory. And honestly, Mary felt like a safe choice for us because it was too sensitive, what we were feeling, to go directly to God. Like, we just couldn't. So Mary, through that devotion, gently guided us back into union with her Son. And that's when the healing began. After doing that devotion. And now I feel like because of that tragedy, we really have changed the way we walk through this world. I mean, we definitely make different choices. We really try to be super present and in the moment, knowing that life is so short and could be taken away in an instant. We really try daily to surrender our lives into God's will. You know, being in this entertainment business, it seems very glamorous, but there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to finances and jobs, and sometimes jobs are few and far between, and you know, you're always sort of, it's always that balance. Right. So really putting our faith in God, and He's always delivered. He really has. It's amazing.
No, it's a great part of the book, and you know, worth reading. I think the journey is worth it for that chapter, though there are other commendable chapters too. But at the beginning of the first chapter, you use one of my favorite quotes from St. Catherine of Siena: "Be who God meant you to be, and you will set the world on fire." What do you want readers to take, Allie, from Reshape Your Life, and what's the message that you want them to hold dearest as they go through this?
I mean, when you say that quote, I love it so much, because often I feel like as we get older, we lose that fire, right? Those things that bring us ultimate joy, because we get older and life starts to happen and we focus on the bills and the jobs and the kids and everything. But we have to remember those things that set our souls on fire, right? In my husband's movie, there's a quote there that says, you can either serve your passion or you can serve your weakness, not both. So I truly believe in serving the passion, right? And really that pretty much describes everything that the book is about. Like really, you know, not settling for a half life. Like we have one life, and I just want us all to really try our best to make it a masterpiece.
I love it. Allie Landry, thank you for being here. And by the way, your husband's movie, the Mother Cabrini film, is incredible. Which you know, I've seen bits and pieces of it, not the entire film, but what I've seen is pretty stellar. Reshape Your Life. Don't Settle Because You Are Worth It by Allie Landry is available now at bookstores everywhere and online. Allie, hope you'll come back sometime soon and come visit us in New Orleans.
I would love it. Thank you so much. Thank you.